Thank you guys for joining us today. It's exciting to see that all of us are here today on Zoom, really just trying to grow in our professional growth. I'm so excited for you, and I do want to say for those that are seniors, I know that this is kind of a challenging time. This isn't probably what you expected for graduation to look like. And so first of all, I just want you to know all of us at Southern Wesleyan are proud of you. We know that this has been a long road, and so I want to send just congratulations to you as you are rounding the bend towards graduation. And we want to make sure that all of you feel confident that as you're moving forward, this countdown to graduation, that it is something that you anticipate with hope. It is something that you anticipate that we have done everything we can to help support you, to encourage you, to give you that extra boost that you need to graduate, cross that finish line, and to feel like you are armed with the skills, with the knowledge that you need to be successful in that next step. So that's what today is about. I'm Ellen Pate. I help oversee career services here at Southern Wesleyan, and we are really excited to be joining you today and sharing some of this information. So today, the goal of today's meeting is to really give you the lowdown on what is LinkedIn. Many of you have probably heard of LinkedIn in the past. You might have an account. I know a lot of times people say, yeah, I've heard of LinkedIn, I have LinkedIn, but I'm not exactly sure how to use it, or I've created a profile and nothing ever happened from it. And so one of the things I want to highlight with you today is just some of the how-tos. We're going to get the very basics down of what is a LinkedIn profile, what is its purpose, and then how do I just get it started. And every week we'll be hitting a new topic until graduation starts. So I encourage you guys to watch this, to think about the things that I'll share with you today. And as we have the new workshops that you'll be sent of new Zoom workshops, to just start working on it, bite-sized pieces. We don't expect you to have it all figured out after today's workshop, but I do encourage you to get ready for graduation. You need to take at least one or two of the steps that we recommended today and put it into practice. So we're going to go ahead and get started, and I'm going to share with you just a number of different tools and resources that I have been able to find that are, to me, pretty helpful in this process. So what we're going to do, I'm going to open up a number of different tabs. And as you can see, I'm logged into LinkedIn here. This is my actual LinkedIn profile. If you don't have one, you can just go to linkedin.com and just create a profile. It is free for you to do this. There's no cost. Now, there's different types of accounts. You can pay for premium accounts and things like that. But just to get started, I would encourage you, don't worry about it. You don't need to think about a premium account. So the first thing that I want to highlight is just how do I get started with this profile. So here on this checklist, when you log in, the very first thing that we're going to talk about, and this is really the to-do for this week, is to get a picture. I know it seems kind of counter of what you might hear for people like resumes. If you worked on a resume, usually 9 times out of 10, we say, don't put a picture on your resume. Really, you want them to highlight your skill set for the job. You're not wanting them to make a decision necessarily just based on a picture. But when it comes to social media, it's kind of the opposite strategy. You do want a picture. And 9 times out of 10, if you don't have a picture on your LinkedIn or a social media profile, people aren't going to want to connect with you, because social media is just that. It's social. It's a connection to a real life person. And so it's really important to have a good photo. Now, I'm going to show you some examples of some different photos that I think have been good strategies. But the biggest thing is you want it close up, that basically it's your head fills in from your shoulders all the way to your head. You don't want it far away from you. You don't want it too close. You definitely don't want a selfie. Like a lot of times if it's a selfie in the car or with another person, those aren't the most ideal pictures for LinkedIn. So have someone on a nice day, get at least a good business casual shirt on. So don't be wearing t-shirts. Modesty is something that's really important. Make sure to go out on a day that you took a shower and have some grooming done and have some makeup on. That helps. If you choose to do that, put that best foot forward. And that is going to make a really good picture for you. So that's the first step. Get that photo. It doesn't have to be fancy. It doesn't have to be a professional photographer, but that's a good one. Once you create your account, it's start with the picture, and you're going to be starting good. You do want, your name up here, and oftentimes if you don't have a position yet, at least put your major. So a religion major, a psychology major, psychology and ministry major, and an aspiring nonprofit manager. So you're kind of putting what your major is and what your career goal is, because a lot of times I'll see Southern Wesleyan students just say Southern Wesleyan, student at Southern Wesleyan. And the truth is, nobody is going to be going on LinkedIn as a recruiter and type in Southern Wesleyan student. That's not how they're going to find you. So it is important for them to find you through more so your goals and what you hope to be. A good headline is just saying the summary is what you're excited about and what you're hoping to do, what you're skilled at, and that's what that top summary is. You don't need to be too wordy, but with enough details that it does highlight what you really hope to be doing. I have seen some LinkedIn profiles that are actually pretty conversational. And, you know, I'm kind of old school. I usually tend more to not using personal pronouns, like I'm doing this and that, but I have seen that more on LinkedIn. So if you want to be a little bit conversational there, you can. And then basically you're just listing the types of things that you would have in a resume, your job title, the name of the organization, the dates that you've done it. You can see here what's a little bit different is that in a LinkedIn profile, you can upload something like a PowerPoint presentation that you've done, or if you have a video. I know sometimes people have shown videos of themselves talking through the goals or the company or what's the philosophy or what's our service. So this is a great way for you to add a multimedia that shows some of your technology skills as well as your communication skills. If you're a part of student organizations, maybe you've been a leader in TRIO, maybe you've been an officer, maybe there's something that you got involved with on campus, you've been a captain in an athletic team. These are all types of things that you can incorporate on your LinkedIn profile, very similar to what you would do on a resume. You definitely want to put your education. So just put, you know, the degree that you're going to get, your bachelor's degree, the date that you're going to get that, degree that's coming up. Volunteer experience is something really important to highlight on your resume. So don't overestimate or underestimate the experiences that you had. Maybe for those of you in social services, you've done some great volunteering work. You've gotten some, maybe it was a summer job or a step up that you did. Maybe you were an Eagle Scout and you had a project that you had going on. You could talk about how much experience you got in that even as a volunteer. Also, don't forget these endorsements. These are skills that you highlight at the beginning of your profile, and other people can just click, yes, I endorse them. So all these pictures on the right here are just as people log into LinkedIn, it says, oh, here is Walt or Ellen. Here's a skill that they have. They're good at management, and that person can endorse and say, yes, I do think that they have that skill. And you can control which of these skills. You can kind of schedule which one comes up to the top of what you want to highlight. Don't forget any honors or awards that you have. These are important if you've, done research papers, have been recognized for things, or poster presentations. Maybe you won awards through your athletics. Perhaps you were recognized academically. These are all great things, leadership things that you want to highlight on your resume. And if you have any projects, undergraduate research, things that you've done that are really strong, good grades that show a highlight of skills that you've had, that might be something that you would want to highlight as well. Any particular projects, especially if there's a coworker or another student that you want to pull and say, this is a project that we did that was like an undergraduate research project, and you could pull in faculty members or things like that. That would look really great on a LinkedIn profile. Last step here, you don't want to forget that recommendations is something that's really unique to LinkedIn. If you have someone that is a coworker or a supervisor, maybe it's a professor, it could even be a colleague or a peer that you've worked with in a volunteer or organization, ask them, would you be willing to be a recommendation? This is something that a lot of students and people leave out on their profile. And now not only are you saying these are the skills that I have, but you have some of your recommendations that can say, yes, Ellen does have this skill. We were a part of this volunteer group together. She was so organized. We did all this fundraising together. She's a great person to work with. And now you've got that person and that recommendation from them. So that's something that will really make your LinkedIn profile step up. There's a couple things that I just wanted to highlight here, and I'm going to be sending these links to you. So after this workshop, I'm going to be through email, everyone that attended today, I'm going to be sending you a couple of links and handouts from this workshop. And so we're going to be doing a quick review of these, but I'm going to be sending these to you. So these are like 10 quick tips for that perfect LinkedIn profile. Big things that we've already probably talked about, but what's interesting about this YouTube video, I'd encourage you to watch that because it talks about how much each of these steps is actually going to increase the likelihood that your LinkedIn profile is going to be looked at. And the benefit why you use LinkedIn beyond anything like a resume is that LinkedIn is the only site that I know that you are connecting to real people and real jobs. Your resume that you upload to Indeed or that you might post for a job board, that's just you and a piece of paper connecting to a job description. That is not a real person. You may not ever know who that person is on the other line reading that resume. But LinkedIn allows you to find a real person from a real company with a real job title. Maybe they're a SWU alumni. Maybe there's somebody that could help connect you. Maybe you're from Rock Hill, South Carolina, and you're wanting to connect with all the alumni in that area. LinkedIn is the only platform that I know of that allows you to connect with real people in that way. But this is one thing that I would say for people that say, I have a LinkedIn account, but yet it's not working for me. Be active. If you are on LinkedIn and you're not active, I always like to say LinkedIn only works if you work it. So if you're not completing your profile, if you don't have recommendations, if you're not getting more and more connections, then it's not going to do anything for you. It's just going to be another just platform that you have an account with. So I'd really encourage you to publish posts here is one of the things. So it might be an article. It might be something similar to Facebook where you can share things, share posts, share articles. I encourage you to do that, especially as it relates to your career. So for those of you, maybe you're interested in nonprofit, if there's some, how to manage a nonprofit, if there's an article or something you've already talked about, share that article that someone else that you saw posted and say, thank you for posting this article. This was such a powerful way for me to learn about nonprofits. That's how you engage, is being active in it. And be active in groups, like things that people say and what they share. The devil's in the details, so make sure that you are doing some of those details that I said. Uploading your picture, make sure it's a good picture, make sure you don't have any spelling or grammar errors. All of those things really matter. But it's 15 times more likely to be viewed if you add the industry you work in or that you're aspiring to work in, and 10 times more likely to be viewed if you add your education. So those are just small things to say, hey, I'm going to make sure that I fill out my whole profile completely. I don't waste any time by being incomplete. Being visual, again, adding those videos, those media slides, those PowerPoints, something, just adding the photo, again, results in 14 times more profile views just by adding your picture. So make sure that your online profile looks visual. It's important to search for groups. One of the groups that I search in, I like to make money from, is doing face painting. And I went onto LinkedIn and I searched for face painting group, and I actually found groups that did face painting. And for a couple summers, I made some income from doing face painting at birthday parties and things like that. But I found some groups like that on LinkedIn. So there's all different types of groups. It could be manufacturing, it could be healthcare. So start following groups, and it can even be healthcare in Charlotte, North Carolina. You know, that specific are groups out there that you can start to follow. Again, if all you have is volunteering, then maximize it. This summer, if you're not able to hire very much, make sure that you take advantage of volunteering anywhere in your community that needs help. Right now, we just had a tornado in our area. If you can volunteer and donate goods or donate time, put that on your LinkedIn profile that you did disaster relief volunteering. That's a great way to maximize your profile while you're still searching for jobs. And again, because that 42% of hiring managers say that they looked at volunteer experience as just as equivalent. So these are going to be two of the handouts that I give you. I'm going to give you a couple other links. And very quickly, I just want to highlight, this is going to be something that I also put in your email to you, but I have a couple of do's and don'ts. So you want to make sure, instead of just putting SWU student at SWU, put multiple work experiences. Make sure to put what your major is. Make sure to put what your aspiring job is. Don't just have a job with no description. They want to highlight what exactly did you do in some of those jobs. Things as it relates to, I'm just going to go through the don'ts here. Don't do any selfies, and make sure that the background is clear behind. You don't want there to be anything distracting in that photo. Make sure that your attire is appropriate and business casual, or not having any picture at all sometimes, again, can turn people off in connecting with you. Make sure that the text that you put in there is not too conversational, it's not too informal. There's usually kind of that balance that you're kind of personal, but you also want to make sure that it's professional and appropriate. So checking your grammar, checking your spelling, make sure that it doesn't look like text or doing any kind of acronyms, you want to make sure that that's in complete sentences. And again, you can see some of the do's that I'd encourage you. These are very similar to some of the things that I've already said. So what I'm going to do from this email is basically after this workshop, I'm going to be sending some information to you via email, both the links that we talked about today. I'm going to be sending you some of the handouts today. And so as we meet together next time, I'm going to be asking some more in-depth questions from you, like how would you rate yourself? Where would you score yourself on a level of 5 or 10 points? How would you rate yourself of how well you have on this LinkedIn profile? Because this LinkedIn profile, after being in career services for a number of years, your LinkedIn profile is one of the best job search strategies that you have out there. We're going to talk about resumes and how to use that and how to upload it, but LinkedIn is probably one of the best places to start. And in our next meeting, I'm going to share with you how to actually use LinkedIn, how to find alumni, where to find jobs, groups, companies through LinkedIn. But the very first step is you need to get your profile completed. You need to get that photo uploaded and use the resources and tools I'm going to email you so that you can feel confident, hey, I've got a good first impression on LinkedIn. Thank you so much for taking time to listen to this LinkedIn workshop today, and I really look forward to touching base with you. If you have any questions, the best place to go is swu.edu/career services. We have tons of workshops and resources for you, but if you select a button that says schedule an appointment, you can schedule a time to meet with me, Ellen Pate, and we can talk about your individual career profile, your LinkedIn profile, be able to help you with the next step. So any questions today, again, go to swu.edu/career services and click that schedule an appointment button. And I look forward to working with each of you individually as you are on your countdown to graduation. Thank you.